Hello and welcome to this guide on how to run successful SaaS market research. Now there is a reason I'm holding a Warhammer miniature. The reason is we're going to use this as an example throughout the video. So we have just set up a brand new SaaS startup, and essentially what you do is you take a photo of a miniature and then the platform will tell you exactly what paints you need to use to paint the model and the techniques you need to use. And I'm going to show you the exact steps that I would take to research this if I was running market research for myself. So approach one, the most effective approach by a million miles. This should be your go-to 100% of the time if it's possible. The approach is surveys. Surveys are whereby you would basically put together a questionnaire yourself so that you can control all the questions in there. They can be very, very specific, and then you send them out to an engaged audience for that audience to then complete. The ideal people to send out a survey to are people who have already engaged with you, people who are already users of your solution, people who have previously used it, people who have shown an interest. These would be your ideal target audience. And you tend to know who your ideal target audience are by them already using your service. You'll also find that by sending it to people who have already used your service, you'll get a far higher response rate, and obviously that makes things a lot easier. Now you might be in a position whereby you're just starting out, so you don't actually have any users to be able to send out an email to saying, here, fill out this survey please. If that's the case, don't worry, there is another approach. Now there are a few ways you can get this survey out in front of people who don't know who you are, to cold audiences. If you want to do that, you can go to forums and you can post a link to the forum and just say, hey, we're starting out this company, we really want to hear your opinions, please can you fill out this form? It's only going to take a few minutes of your time. People want to give you their opinions because people want to be heard, they want their voices and their opinions heard. So forums is one option. Another option is you can actually run a paid ad campaign. Target your ideal target market in Facebook ads or in LinkedIn ads. Has to be social media, or should be social media. And then just put out an advert saying, here, we've got this link to this survey. We know you're really interested in XYZ. So in this instance, you run it to an audience that likes Warhammer Facebook pages, and you'd say, hey, we know you're interested in Warhammer miniatures. We have this fantastic new product coming out, which allows you to photograph a miniature and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to paint it. We want your ideas so that we can make this as best as possible. Can you please complete this survey? Now, if it's something that people are genuinely excited about, you will have no problems getting people to fill out that survey. And that is a very good sign, because that will then translate to you being able to run successful marketing to that audience later. So by using the paid ad approach, you'll find that you're actually testing the water for a future ad campaign. Additionally, you can just ask your network. So ask friends and family if they're in your target audience, not just generic friends and family. Ask your LinkedIn network. You can even go on LinkedIn, search for people in your target audience and message them cold saying, hey, I know that we don't know each other, but I really want some feedback on a SaaS platform we're putting together. You would be our ideal client. Do you mind if you could fill out this survey? It'll take 2 or 3 minutes. You can even offer someone a free trial or something in exchange for their time for filling out the survey. Now, surveys need to give you a few different things. Our surveys we put into this one-page sheet which lists the pain points someone's got. Essentially, that's the problem. It lists what's going to motivate them to get out of that current situation. It lists what frustrates them about their current situation. And it lists what they want, the benefits they want. So it essentially goes through where they are now in terms of their problems, where they want to get to, and all the stuff in between that's going to help them make the change. That's the kind of form you want to fill out. That will be, honestly, a godsend that you can use throughout the entirety of running your SaaS. Now, obviously, you need to ask specific questions to be able to fill out that form, which is why I'm giving you those exact questions you need to ask. They are linked in the description below. Just check them out. Obviously, you'll need to tweak them to suit your exact scenario, but in terms of format and general principles of what questions you need to ask, they're all in there, so you can have that for free. Also, I have a very special bonus in this video. I'm giving you free resources. So I'm going to give you a template you can fill out to be able to put your market research into, which almost acts like a Bible for marketing and everything in the future. And I'm going to give you things like the exact questions you need to ask people in interviews and in surveys to make your market research as effective as possible. The second thing you can do, and this is actually better than surveys, but it tends to be a little bit more difficult, is interviews. So you'd ask someone in an interview the exact same questions you would ask them in the survey, but what happens is you tend to get a bit of back and forth. Someone might give a response and then you think, well, actually I could ask something and go into a little bit more depth. You can probe a little bit more about how they feel about things emotionally. You can read signals in their body language, in the way that they explain things that you wouldn't necessarily get in a survey. Now, how do you interview people? It's exactly the same as the way that you would send out a survey. It's a little bit more difficult, admittedly, because someone needs to have a bigger commitment. They need to jump on the phone with you. But firstly, go to your network or anyone you actually know. Secondly, you can put a little bit at the end of your survey saying, would you mind us following up with you to interview about this? And some people will say yes, and you can follow up with those people. Additionally, you can go to people cold and say, hey, would you be able to jump on a call to do this? But you will find that the amount of people taking you up on that offer is far less than the survey approach. So as I said, it's probably best to go with the survey approach as your primary method and then have the follow-up or upsell of an interview, and then use your network and people you actually know or friends of friends to do the interview approach. Next up is to use forums and groups. So let's use our miniature here again. We're interested in finding people who are interested in painting Warhammer 40,000 miniatures. So we'll search for a Warhammer 40,000 group within Facebook, ideally one focused on painting. And then we can use the search function within, and you can do this within forums as well. We use the search function to find out what people are complaining about. So we'll literally search problem or I have an issue with, and just search these sorts of search terms and you'll find people saying, oh, I really hate it when boom. And what you want to do is you want to compile that information so it's all in one place, and what you'll start to see is patterns, and that's a really good point in time. As soon as you start to see patterns, those are the core problems that your audience has. That's what you want to focus most of your marketing on and what you need to really collect from your market research. Next up is blogs. There will already be established blogs, people talking about this because it's a point of interest for people. So you can go onto those existing blogs and you can find out which are the most popular ones within there, because that'll be something that people are attracted to. It might be something that you could focus your solution on. Additionally, some blogs are written by people who have already done market research. So you can actually find, and this is generally blogs that are focused around trying to make a sale to someone. If they're doing it well, they will just genuinely list all the findings of their market research in terms of speaking to their audience. They'll say, do you have problems with painting your miniature? Do you never know which color to use? Do you not know which technique you should be using? Those are probably things you found through market research. Well, if you have those problems, here's our new app, because you can immediately know what paint to use, so it saves you time. You can find alternatives, so you don't need to buy new paint for just a tiny little thing. All these things, some blogs will be so well written because they have already done their market research, and you can use those. You can just boom, take out huge chunks of market research to back up what you're finding. And finally, it's to look at your competitors. Now, very important here, you will have competitors who are good and you will have competitors who are bad. That is, competitors who are doing the right thing in terms of marketing and competitors who are doing a really bad job. Now, do not fall into the illusion that someone having loads and loads of ads running means that their marketing is successful. It's an indication their marketing is probably successful. It can also be an indication that they have way more money than sense, because they might be making a loss on those ads. So generally, if you see a smaller company who's running ads and they're running them at scale, it means they're successful. If you see a larger company of like 1,000+ employees running loads of ads at scale, it might be that those ads don't actually really work, but for them, it doesn't really matter. So we find the ads that are working and we look at what they're saying. We look at what they're saying in their ad copy. We look at what their creative looks like. Go through the whole process, click on the advert, see what the landing page looks like. Those will give us hints as to what their market research has found. And if they're well written, you can copy like entire sections of those websites in terms of the approach. Obviously don't 100% copy it, but in terms of the approach that they're using. On the flip side, obviously, if there are people running really bad adverts, take note of what they're doing and know that you should avoid that. Other people have already tested adverts. You might as well look at them, try and figure out whether they worked or not, and then say, well, that approach doesn't work, we'll avoid that. Knowing what to avoid is just as powerful as knowing what to go towards. Those are 5 ways you can run market research, and now that we've run market research, we have everything we need to successfully market our app about how to paint Warhammer 40,000 miniatures. There you go, boom, done. As I said before, those extra resources, the questions you can ask in surveys and interviews, and also the template you can use to fill out your market research can be found below. By all means, use that as much as you want. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. This video is part of the SaaS Marketing School. It's a series of videos designed to help you scale your SaaS company by basically understanding everything you need to make marketing work for you. So these videos will help, and this channel is entirely designed to help you out. If you have any questions around anything in this video or in general, you just want to know something else, leave a comment below. You can even request videos and I will make them for you. And finally, my company Tech Growth Marketing, we work exclusively with SaaS and tech companies. We are currently giving away free marketing strategy audits. There is a link in the description below. Essentially, we'll go through everything you're doing at present, help you figure out any roadblocks you're facing to make your marketing more efficient, and we can also help you plan out a long-term marketing strategy. Now, we do get a lot of applicants for that, so unfortunately we can't get back to everyone. However, you do get 2 free guides when you sign up for that free marketing strategy audit. You get a 17 secrets to rocket your marketing, which is an incredibly powerful guide, and you get a video marketing strategy guide as well. So if you want to apply for that, link in the description below. Really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.